Dear learners, I welcome you all to the higher module on Institutional Management for Entrepreneurship. We will focus on Unit 6, that is Rural Centered Entrepreneurship, and this is video 1 of the video series on the topic Ecosystem for Rural Entrepreneurship. The contents of the presentation are an introduction to rural entrepreneurship, ecosystem for rural entrepreneurship, Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC, and government schemes for promoting rural entrepreneurship. Let us start with an introduction to rural entrepreneurship. Rural entrepreneurship in simple words can be called as entrepreneurship in rural areas. Now learners, we all are aware that most of our population is residing in the rural areas, but the problem is that this rural population is migrating towards the urban areas. That means in order to mitigate this problem of migration of rural population to the urban areas, we need to address their problems. The major problem faced by them is that they do not have any employment opportunities, or they do not have this livelihood. So in search of livelihood and employment opportunities, they are migrating towards the urban areas, and hence if we are able to provide them the opportunities, employment opportunities in their area, in their villages, in the rural area itself, this problem of migration will be solved. And hence rural entrepreneurship, also called rural industrialization, means setting up of industrial units. It has been reported that rural entrepreneurship is an important mechanism of providing employment opportunities which helps in mitigation of the problem of migration of people from urban to rural areas in search of livelihood. Rural entrepreneurship can be described as recognition of rural business opportunities and its implementation. Now in our country, rural entrepreneurship development has received a lot of attention in the last few years. A number of programs, policies, schemes and institutions have been formulated and established for the support and development of rural ecosystem, rural entrepreneurial ecosystem. Such development and promotional measures can be categorized as: first one is the policy framework for the support of rural entrepreneurship, programs for the support of rural entrepreneurship, institutional support for rural entrepreneurship. Now various schemes have been implemented by Government of India for the promotion of entrepreneurial ecosystem for enhancement of rural entrepreneurship. Now let us understand these schemes. Khadi and Village Industries Commission, also known as KVIC, is an organization under the aegis of the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. KVIC has been actively involved in the promotion and development of Khadi and village industries for the main purpose of providing employment opportunities in the rural areas. The main objective of KVIC is to provide employment opportunities in rural areas, producing sellable items for available resources, building self-confidence amongst people for creating a community spirit among them. Various schemes being implemented by KVIC for rural entrepreneurial ecosystem are: let us first of all discuss Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program PMEGP. This is a credit-linked subsidy program whose main purpose is to promote non-farm based small or micro enterprises. This will lead to creation of employment opportunities for self and others in rural as well as urban areas. The scheme is implemented at the national level and at state, district level through the KVIC and state Khadi and village industries boards. In rural areas, at district level, the scheme is implemented through district industries centers, which are also known as DICs, in rural as well as in the urban areas. This scheme includes a financial grant of maximum limit for new enterprises in manufacturing sector up to Rs 25 lakhs and in service sector up to rupees 10 lakhs. Another scheme is Interest Subsidy Eligibility Certificate Scheme. Under this scheme, there has been created a mobilization of funds from different banks, financial institutions. The scheme provides credit at the discounted rate of interest to all the registered Khadi institutes. Another scheme is Workshed Scheme for Khadi Artisans. Workshed Scheme for Khadi Artisans provides space and amiable ecosystem to the Khadi artisans, which leads to increase in productivity and earnings. To avail the benefit through this scheme, Khadi artisans have to work for at least 100 in a year and should have their own land. This scheme provides a financial assistance up to rupees 60,000 and rupees 40,000 for construction of workshed individually or in a group respectively. Strengthening of infrastructure of existing weak Khadi institutions and assistance for marketing infrastructure. Now, this scheme is divided into two components. The first one is strengthening of infrastructure of existing weak Khadi institutions. Through this scheme, financial assistance is provided to the Khadi institutions which are weak or having problems. That means the institutions which are on the verge of shutdown or which are having some problems. So, to these types of weak institutions, grant is provided. The basic purpose of this grant is to revive these weak institutions. The second component of this scheme is assistance for marketing infrastructure. In this case, financial assistance is providing for strengthening the marketing infrastructure development, because once the product is produced, a second major part is the marketing of that particular product. Another scheme is Scheme of Fund for Regeneration and Traditional Industries, commonly known as SVEP. SVEP has been launched by Government of India with intent to organize clusters of traditional artisans and to enhance their productivity and make them profitable. Learners, we are aware that in villages we have a lot of artisans who are doing traditional work. So, in order to finance them, in order to help them, we have this scheme. Under the scheme, assistance is provided for establishing common facility centers, for availing the raw materials which is required by them, for the procurement of various machines, and also assistance is provided for training, for visits and for branding. In this particular case, a support of 2.5 crore and 5 crore for a cluster of up to 500 artisans and more than 500 artisans respectively is provided. Another scheme is Khadi Reform and Development Program. Under this program, the main objective of this scheme is to recognize the growth of Khadi and village industries sector in terms of generation of employment, enhancement of profitability of the artisans, and improvement of technology know-how. Honey Mission. Honey Mission is the initiative of KVIC meant for promoting the modern beekeeping industry, mainly to uplift the rural population residing in extremely interior areas. Another scheme is known as Mission Solar Charkha. The scheme involves establishing of solar charkha clusters, which means that a cluster will consist of a focal village surrounded by nearby villages. These nearby villages will be in the radius of 8 to 10 kilometers. Now, this cluster will consist of other beneficiaries also, including weavers, spinners, stitchers and other skilled artisans. Now, learners, we know that we have lot of traditional knowledge, we have lot of traditional artisans who are available in the villages, in the rural areas, but the only problem faced by them is they do not have a science and technology intervention, they do not have the quality certification. So, in order to solve this problem, we have another scheme known as Science and Technology Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Now, the main objective of this Science and Technology Khadi and Village Industries Commission is to boost innovation, improve quality and productivity of the articles which are produced so as to make them globally acceptable. They have the knowledge, they have the traditional things, but the only thing missing is the intervention of science and technology. So, through this scheme, this problem, this challenge has been solved. This scheme enables the rural industries to get its own due. To address the quality aspects through research and development projects and quality certification. Another objective of this scheme is to enhance the quality and productivity of the products through the scientific interventions. That means the scientific knowledge is given to them in order to improve the quality and productivity of the products which are produced in the rural villages. Another scheme is Capacity Building Khadi and Village Industries. Capacity Building Khadi and Village Industries Commission conduct need-based training programs through various training centers. The training is given in the associated disciplines like we can call as food items, in case of soap and detergent making, for various bakery products, garment making, in beekeeping, in agarbatti making, candle making, motor repairing, binding. So, all these small types of trainings are given so that they are self-reliant and they can produce their or make their own products. Another program is Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, also known as SVEP. It is a sub-scheme of National Rural Livelihood Mission under the Ministry of Rural Development. Its main aim is promotion of startups in the rural areas. SVEP is an intervention focused to promote startup entrepreneurial venture by rural poor households. The scheme ensures availability of finances, capacity building and other important services required for the setting up of a village startup, or we can call as a village enterprise. This program also promotes the creation of self-employment opportunities for the rural youth. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, also known as NABARD, NABARD Rural Innovation Fund is a granting mechanism by which NABARD funds innovative, risk-friendly, unconventional experiments in farm, non-farm and microfinance sectors that would have the potential to promote livelihood opportunities and employment in the rural areas. The grant will be up to rupees 30 lakhs per innovation on the approval. There is another scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industries and entrepreneurship, also known as Aspire. Aspire scheme provides help for setting up a network of technology centers and incubation centers for the growth of entrepreneurship and for promotion of startups for innovation in the agro-based industry. So, in this case, financial support is provided through this scheme to set up a livelihood business incubators, also known as LBI, under National Small Industries Corporations, NSIC or KVIC or the Core Board or any other related institution, agency of Government of India or of state government. So, dear learners, these are some of the schemes which have been implemented by our government for the promotion of rural entrepreneurship. For more content, kindly refer to the e-content of this unit. Thank you all.